Welcome to 5 quirky stories of holiday traditions, uncovering odd origins behind festive customs. In ancient Rome, Saturnalia honored the god Saturn, starting as a one-day event on December 17th, around the 5th century BCE, and expanding to a week-long festival by the 1st century CE, typically December 17th to 23rd. It featured role reversals where masters served slaves, public banquets after temple sacrifices, gambling even in forms where it was usually banned, feasting, gift-giving like wax figurines and candles, and merry chaos with the greeting, Io Saturnalia.
Yo, Saturnalia!
Schools closed, work halted, and people wore colorful, informal clothing instead of togas. This midwinter celebration influenced later Christian holidays, blending pagan rites into Christmas. Was Saturnalia the root of holiday excess or just ancient fun? Share your thoughts below.
Another bottle of tequila.
Next, when Christmas was banned in England.
Christmas shall be a day of penance and fasting.
Welcome back to 5 quirky stories of holiday traditions. Imagine a time when Christmas was illegal.
You are all under arrest for illegal Christmas celebrations.
This actually happened. In 1647, England, during a civil war, the Puritan-led parliament, controlled by Oliver Cromwell, passed a law banning Christmas. Why?
Christmas shall be a day of penance and fasting.
The Puritans were strictly religious. They saw Christmas feasting, drinking, and games as a pagan hangover, a sinful distraction from worship. The ban was serious. Troops patrolled the streets. They seized food being prepared for Christmas dinner and fined anyone caught celebrating. Shops were forced to stay open on December 25th. This ban lasted 13 long years, but people fought back. Many held small, secret celebrations in defiance, and some even rioted, demanding their right to be festive. When the monarchy returned in 1660, the ban was finally lifted, and the holiday cheer and the feasting came roaring back. It just goes to show you, sometimes the quirkiest holiday traditions are the ones you have to fight for. Tell me, what modern holiday tradition would you riot for if it got banned? Next, Krampus, the holiday demon that delivers punishment.
Welcome back to 5 quirky stories of holiday traditions. You know Santa delivers presents. But who delivers punishment? Forget a lump of coal. In the alpine regions of Europe, countries like Austria, Bavaria, and Slovenia, naughty children don't get a visit from the gift giver. They get the Krampus. Krampus is a terrifying, horned, half-goat, half-demon figure that is basically the devil's sidekick. Here's the quirky part. This all happens on December 5th, known as Krampusnacht or Krampusnight. This isn't tied to the Christmas Day gift exchange. Instead, Krampus works for the historical Saint Nicholas, who arrives on the morning of December 6th to reward good children with small treats. The two work as a team. Saint Nick rewards the good kids, while Krampus hunts down the bad ones with chains, bells, and a bundle of birch sticks. Historically, this wasn't just folklore. Young men dressed in terrifying demon costumes would parade through the streets, chasing and swatting onlookers. Governments even tried to ban the tradition at times, deeming it too rowdy or too pagan. But the demon always managed to claw his way back. It just goes to show you, before the age of commercialized Christmas cheer, the holidays had a much darker, wilder side. If you had to choose, would you rather be chased by Krampus or have your Christmas cancelled by a Puritan like they did in 1647 England? Next, St. Nicholas versus Santa Claus.
Welcome back to 5 quirky stories of holiday traditions. You just heard about Krampus, who works for St. Nicholas on December 6th. But why do we have a gift giver on the 25th? It's a quirky story of cultural mashup. First, the date. While St. Nick delivers presents on December 6th, Christmas on December 25th was established centuries ago before Santa Claus was invented, primarily to replace or incorporate older, popular pagan winter solstice celebrations, just like the Roman festival Saturnalia we covered in the first short of the series. Now for the gift giver. The real Saint Nicholas was a Christian bishop known for his generosity. Over time, his legend spread through Europe, inspiring the December 6th traditions. But when Dutch settlers came to America, their traditions mixed with other European winter legends. The American transformation truly began in the early 1800s. A key moment was the 1823 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, better known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." This gave him a sleigh, 8 reindeer, and the habit of sliding down chimneys. His image was solidified by political cartoonists and, later, by commercial giants like Macy's, whose spectacular Christmas parades and advertising campaigns helped standardize his look. The big belly, the red suit, and the beard. The bishop was gone. Santa Claus, the Americanized commercialized version of the gift giver, was born, ready to deliver on Christmas Day. It just goes to show you, sometimes a quirky old tradition just needs a good marketing team to become a global superstar. Tell me, which version of the gift giver do you prefer, bishop or jolly old elf? Next, why we kiss under the mistletoe.
Welcome to the final story in our 5 quirky stories of holiday traditions. You know the rule, get caught under the mistletoe and you have to kiss. But why are we smooching beneath a plant that is actually a poisonous parasite? It's an incredibly quirky piece of plant history. The custom goes back to ancient civilizations. For the Druids, the plant was considered sacred. They believed it could cure diseases and bring fertility, so they treated it with immense reverence, harvesting it with golden sickles. Then we have Norse mythology, where mistletoe played a key role in the death of the beloved god Baldr. His mother, the goddess Frigg, made every living thing vow not to hurt him, except for the mistletoe, which she thought was too insignificant. Loki, the trickster god, used this oversight, crafting the small plant into a dart that killed Baldr. After his death, Frigg wept tears that transformed the mistletoe into its iconic white berries. In her grief and relief, she declared the plant a symbol of love and promised to kiss anyone who passed beneath it. It wasn't until the Victorian era in England that the tradition became the Christmas party staple we know today. Back then, there was a rule. Every time a couple kissed under the bough, they had to remove one of the white berries. Once the berries were all gone, no more kissing.
There are no berries on the mistletoe.
It just goes to show you, a harmless holiday kiss might be one of the oldest, quirkiest traditions we have. Tell me, what's the strangest holiday tradition you or your family has? Pucker up and subscribe to Short Bites of History.